The track in this video was Basking Me by Bobby Found a Trumpet, and you can get this track for free on SoundCloud and on the YouTube channel, Bobby Found a Trumpet YouTube channel. I'll put some links in the description. Hello, welcome to No Nonsense Music Tips with me, Tony. And today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be mixing a song from start to finish with one plugin. And I don't mean one plugin all in all, I just mean one plugin on every channel we're going to do, and then put one on the master fader at the end and master the channel. So let's get into this one, guys.
Feel the sunlight on my face, soak it all in. The sun shines brighter now that I've found you. Feel the sunlight on my face, soak it all in. Feel the sunlight on my face, soak it all in. The sun shines brighter now that I've found you. Feel the sunlight on my face, soak it all in.
So this is the plugin. It's called The Strip and it's by Phil Spicer. And I'm going to put a link in the description. And what it is like it's an AI strip, and it will listen to your input and then work out a setting for you. So I'm going to put a link in the description. Let me just go through what this plugin does here. So on it, we've got this warmth, and that's going to add a bit of warmth to your mix. We've got this low cut. So if you know what a low cut does, it's almost like an EQ curve, and it sort of bends round. So say if this is your EQ, it would start here and go up and then bend round. And so the low cut would be how much of it you wanted cutting off. So on this instance here, it's 40 hertz. And then we've got a noise gate, which is just a gate for closing off any unwanted noise and any things like vocals and stuff like that. Then we've got the transient designer here, and that'll be to help with transients, or if you want to make your kicks, your drums punchier and stuff like that, we've got the transient designer here. Then you've got a corrective EQ, and this will pick out the frequencies where it thinks there's ringing and just cut those a little. And you've got these solo buttons that you can listen to them. Then we've got a compressor here, and the gain here on it, the makeup gain here, and the threshold. And you can set it into parallel mode as well by dragging on this parallel word here, and that will add some parallel to it as well. So you've got both signals at the same time, a compressed version and a non-compressed version mixing. Then you've got a multi-band compressor on, which will do the lows, the mids, and the highs, a bit like the OTT type thing, but without whereas OTT will also give you push and pull dynamics. This will only give you push. It will only do when a certain threshold is reached. It'll lower them. It won't push the frequencies up, or should I say, it won't push the volumes up like it does with the OTT. But that basically is a multi-band. Then we've got this balance EQ here, which you've got 4 bands, and what you're aiming to do is try and get this CN line here to be a bit more straighter. Then we've got a reverb and your length, your time, your length, your amount and size, the delay with your settings on that, your feedback level. Then you've got a spread for your stereo width, a chorus. Then you've got an auto pan and its timing, and then you've got a shaper. What this is basically like a ducker, so something like if you're going to be side chaining your kick to your bass, you would use something like this maybe. And then you've got this filter frequency cuts here as well, which you can add. Then on this section here, you have your gain, which is up and down here, and your pan left and right. And you can grab this dot here and move it around. You have this C here, which will lock it into to center. So basically you can only go up and down, you can't go left and right. And in the main version, you'll have a P here, which does your pan as well. So it'll lock it into the pan position. And then you've got this dim button here, which will dim it as well. And then you've got your bass mono frequency. So anything below that frequency will be mono. And then your limiter threshold as well for when you're limiting. And then this is where you can change your signal type that you suggest and re-listen. And there is another part on here as well, which has been added, which is a sort of I don't know if you know Soothe 2, but basically it takes your frequencies that are ringing and will lower those as well. So that's the plugin we're going to use. I'll put a link in the description. It's £99. We bought it for 50 in a deal. There is no demo, unfortunately, but this is why I'm doing this video, so you guys can see it. Now, Phil does do a video similar to what I'm doing, where he puts it all onto one thing, but I'm not going to show you that. You can come and look at that on the webpage, but it's basically doing the same as I'm doing. The reason I'm doing it as well is so you guys can see it from me, someone that's not affiliated with it, and somebody that's just a producer in a studio, and that you can see it from me rather than the person that's selling it. So there's nothing being hidden from me. So that's the plugin we're going to use, and we're going to use this on pretty much every channel and let it decide what it wants to do. So a little bit about this. It's an AI plugin, and it'll listen to your audio. Now, I know this is a channel for quick tips, and there's going to be a lot of people on it that want to learn more about mixing and mastering and the intricacies of that. And I am going to do more videos on that, but this video is going to be more aimed at people that are just producing and they don't really know a lot about mixing and mastering, and they just want to be able to mix and master a track that sounds good and they can send it off to a label or something like that. So this is aimed more at those, how to quickly get the results they want without having to worry about it. The problem we have is that mix engineers take years and years and years to hone their ears in. And when you're first starting out, you can learn everything about mixing and mastering, but you're going to make big changes in your swoops. So when you're doing your EQing and stuff like that, you're going to make big changes because you're not hearing the differences, because you haven't trained your ears enough to be able to hear those differences. And because of that, you end up making big changes in your EQs. You'll do, 12 dB cuts or 12 dB raises in your EQ, or you'll over compress something. So this is more aimed at those people that are struggling with that and want to take time over years of developing their ears, but also want to put stuff out now that sounds quite good. This is a really good tool for that. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create another video in a couple of weeks' time, which also takes this tool and takes the suggestions it gives, and then I'm going to recreate those suggestions with normal plugins or other plugins like waves compressors and EQs and stuff like that. So you can see then if we can match what the plugin is suggesting to can we create it ourselves, and what are the differences, and can you hear the changes, and does that help you then to understand more about mixing and mastering? So that's going to be another video I'll do later on. But this is going to be more aimed at those people that really want that quick win of getting a really good sound early on. So what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm just going to play the instruments so you get a taste of all the instruments and what I'm using, and that way you can see how I'm affecting them then.
Bask in me. The sun shines brighter now that I've found you. Feel the sunlight on my face, soak it all
Sometimes it can be true. I need to see what it's true. Sometimes it can be true.
So that's the instruments, guys. So now I'm going to come to my mixer and I'm going to load in my first instance of the strip. And what we're going to do is once we've got the instance of strip on there, we're just going to let it listen for a bit. Some instruments that don't have a lot of dynamic range in it or change over time, we'll do quick ones on. And things like vocals where there's going to be some changes over time in the dynamics, we'll leave it on for a little bit longer listening, and then that will get us a better result from there. Okay, guys, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off with the drums, and then I'm going to move to the bass, then to the vocals, then to the keys, then to the pads. Then I'm going to group up the drums and put one on the group of the drums, and then I'll put one on the master at the end and see how this sounds. So what we do is we pick the plugin, and we're just going to choose the style it is or what type of instrument it is. So we're going to pick drums and then kick.
Feel the sunlight on my face.
And then we'll let it listen.
The sun shines brighter now that I've
And you can see there now the kick's starting to punch through. And what it's done is it set it here at minus 12.5 dB, which is really, really important. It's already done the gain staging for us so that we have a real ton of headroom on the master. And so you can see there where it's placed that ball. And if we click this C here, that will lock it into the center so we can't move the pan. And then if we click the P here, we can move that. It will lock it in place so that we can move the pan in here left and right as well. And then you've got this dim button, which will dim it as well if you need to bring the volume down a little bit more. But it's done basic on there. It's not really added anything other than set the gain staging volume on that. So the kick must already be good. So we're going to move on to the second kick, which is sort of a supporting kick further into the chorus areas.
Feel the sunlight on my face.
And again, we'll pick drums and kick here.
Now that I've found you. Feel the sunlight on my
I'm just going to move this over so the kick is actually playing. There we are. It's a bit punchy, so I'm going to bring that down here. I'm going to make sure I press that C just to get it to where I want it. And we can adjust this again later on if we need to. And again, it hasn't really put nothing onto the kick. It's just gain staged it for us, so the kick is already sounding good as it is. So we're going to move next on to the fill and then the loops. I might not want to put one on the fill actually because there's not a lot going on there. So I'll probably just go over to the fills. I should have said the loops. Let's put one on that. That kick is still a bit hard, so I may move that later on. May bring it down a bit more. So I do have a top screen, and I ended up messing this up a little bit here, where I made it listen to it while the strip was on the top screen, so you can't see it. But I will bring it down during the video. In a minute, you'll see. It's already sounding quite nice. There we are, so I brought it down. So you can see on this one, I've selected it to do drum percussion loop, and I pulled down the gain, you can see there. It's put a low cut of 20 hertz on there. So basically it's going to cut everything below 20 hertz. It's put on a multi-band compressor, and it's put on a normal compressor here. And it's doing a couple of dB compression there, and then it's hitting those highs on that multi-band. And I pulled down the gain on that just to blend it in a little bit. So some of this is also going to be down to your taste and how you feel and where you want certain things to sit. It'll do the best job it can, but you've got to also have some creative input into this. So again, we've got the second loop. So again, we'll pick drums, percussion loop, and get it to listen. Don't need a massive amount of time. I had it muted, so I need to unmute it and re-listen to that. And again, it's put on the multi-bands, the compressor, and the low cut 250. Let's get a new instance of this on. And again, we'll pick drums and percussive loop again. Have a listen. It's really, really simple, guys. And again, it's brought the volume down, the gain down. It's give a little bit of compression this time, not too much. I think it's just hitting those claps. And put a multi-band on there, which is not really doing a lot. Now we can put some spread on this if we want. So again, this is going back to now to the creative side of things and what you want creatively. If you want to spread out one of those loops, then start adding that in and see how it sounds to you. I'm not going to put nothing on this fill. I'm going to leave the fill as it is. It sounds right in there. I'm happy with that. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to pick up the bass. I'm picking bass. I need to put the strip. And you see it's already put some gain staging on for you already. And we'll pick synth bass this time, get it to listen to a bit. And it looks like that bass is pretty much, it's happy with everything on that bass. It's just brought the volume down a little bit. Now we can put the shaper on, which will duck it to the kick in the 4/4. But there is an issue with this. I tend to turn this one off because sometimes when you bounce it down, you'll get a click in the bass and it sounds horrible. So sometimes I'll turn this off and I'll actually just go in and do a sidechain ducking on the compression myself with either track spacer or the built-in compressor in Cubase, and I'll sidechain that to the kick. So that's the beat and the bass done, and it sounds fine to me there. So we're going to pick on the vocals next. You can hear that ducking of that bass.
It all in. Feel the sunlight on my face. Soak it
I mean, that vocal already sounds really good. It's a sample I've got, and it's really, really good sample that is. It's already got some nice reverb already on it. But we'll see what the strip suggests for us. Straight away, it's gain staged it. So we'll pick vocal and lead female vocal, and get it to listen. And make it listen to a good amount of the phrase so that it gets all those dynamics in. So there we are. So it's added a reverb, delay, it's added some spread in the stereo field, multi-band compressor, targeting a lot of the mid-range, and a single compressor on there, doing a few dB of reduction. It's added some warmth on it and a low cut of 150 hertz. Now you can start adding some creative elements in here. You can start looking at the EQs, so this balance EQ. This is really good. You'll see that low mid pushes up, so we can just drag that down. And the aim of this is to get that cyan line or that blue line more straight. And you'll find as you pull one line down, the ones that either side of it push up or down, depending on where you're moving that line. So they're all sort of interconnected. So just watch what you're doing with that. And again, listening to the changes to try and see if you can hear the changes and being happy with them and taking some creative decisions. If you don't hear the changes or your ears are not owned on that yet, don't worry about it. If it sounds good, then just go with that. And take what the plugin says. So we can solo this and bring it up and see if there's any ringing. So just bring these down. I'm just showing you what they sound like. And generally, I will just trust what is suggested there. So that's off. That's on. So it's added a bit more reverb than that. And then we've got this smoothing, which is a bit like soothe too. And we can solo that, and you can hear those resonant filters, those resonant frequencies it's going to target and pull down for us. So I'm happy with that. Sounds pretty good. It's done a really good job with that. So we're going to move to the next vocal, and this is a separate vocal on a separate channel, but we want it to be part of the first vocal, so we're going to try and make sure they match and have the same sound. So I'll just copy this one over and get it to re-listen.
The sun shines brighter now that I've found it all in. The sun shines brighter now that I've found you. Feel the sunlight on my face.
I'm just going to pull the volume down on this one. Actually, I'll do it in the plugin.
The sun shines brighter now that I've found you.
Again, I'm doing it on the top screen, not realizing.
On my face, soak it all in. The sun shines brighter.
So that's a bit too loud, so I'll pull that volume down.
Found you. Feel the sunlight on my face, soak it all in. The sun shines brighter.
I realised.
Now that I've found.
So I'm getting to re-listen here. Done.
Feel the sunlight on my face, soak it all in. The sun shines brighter.
So that's a lot closer.
Now that I've found.
They both sound a lot closer together now.
Feel the sunlight on my face, soak it
Maybe pull the volume down a bit.
The sun shines brighter now
Yeah.
that I've found.
They both sound pretty similar now.
Feel the sunlight on my face, soak it all.
It's done a really good job of that.
The sun shines brighter now that I've found you.
Now I think that second kick is a bit too heavy now. So I may pull that down on the volume over here. This support kick. happy with how that's sounding. So we called this one male voice, but I think it's just a toned down version of a female voice. But I'm going to put the strip on it and select male voice in this. Lead vocal male. Bring the volume down. Again, it's put some reverb and delay on. And we'll just bring this balance down. I'm going to be a little bit quicker now because you sort of get the gist of what I'm doing. Push that one up. You see it affects the others around it. Push that one up. Messing with these seems to affect the volume as well. And I'm just going to set and forget the corrective EQ. I pretty much trust the corrective EQ. It takes some of that ringing out. And it's got some multi-band on here and the mids and highs. It's got a 12 spread on it, a 20 spread should I say. And we'll put this smooth on as well. Don't forget to subscribe, tickle that like button guys. So it's got rid of some horrible frequencies there. Resonant frequencies. We've got a little bit of compression hitting some of those impacts. I like that. Nice and smooth. I do like that. Needs a little bit more reverb on that, I think. And just control that first initial hit, the bat part of it. So we'll pick vocal, and I'm discussing with my partner Kev here what we should do. And I was looking at backing vocals, but he thinks maybe we're better off back with the lead female. So I'll pick the lead female again. And I'll get it to re-listen. And again, just gonna move forward. You know what I'm doing now with this. 20 spread on that. Delay on it, reverb on it. I'm gonna add a bit of chorus to this. A bit too much, just drop it down a bit. Some more high to this. Pull that down, set the center so I don't move to the sides. Get some of those horrible resonant frequencies. And we'll stick on the corrective EQ and just leave that. And you can see the compressors hitting that first word, basking. I'm happy with that. So now we've got these oohs. Let's process these. Straight away it's put on that. Again, staging. We'll do backing vocals here and get to listen. And creatively, I think I'm already going to push these to the side, more to the sides as well. I'm going to give it a bit more spread.
Bask in me. Bask in me.
So it's already put a 25 spread on it as well.
In me.
Oh no, that's feedback on the delay, sorry. I'm going to add more to this. I'm going to 60 spread and a little bit of chorus on it.
Bask in me.
And I'm going to do the balance EQ, as always. And you see, this one always seems to be the problem. This always seems to stick out, and that's why you get muddy mixes sometimes, because that area always seems to stick out. That low mid.
Bask in me.
And remember, we can always play around with the faders later on once we've got something. So let's get rid of some of this
Bask in me.
resonant frequencies here.
Bask in me.
Do the job. We'll just set and forget the corrected EQ and trust what's been given to us.
Bask in me.
Now, I am aware, guys, this isn't teaching you a lot, but it is going to give you some good results. And you can take what the settings show here and try and recreate those in normal plugins if you want to learn more.
Bask in me. Bask in me.
I like what's going on there.
Bask in me. Bask in me.
So now it's time to start working on some of these keys. Let's do this.
Bask in me. Bask in me. Bask in
Bring that down. So mute it. Not that one. That one.
Bask
Make sure I put it on the right one. Yeah, I did. Okay, let's unmute that.
Bask in me. Bask in me.
And we're going to choose synth and synth
Bask in me.
chords. And just listen to what it sounds like in solo. I'll probably pick synth chords for this, I think, yeah. And that's put it way, way too loud, so I don't want it that loud. Now you can see I'm quite low already on that gain on there, so I think I'm going to have to hit the dim switch on this one.
Bask in me. Bask in me. Bask in me. Bask in me.
I'm just seeing what the sound next to it sounds like and maybe just adjusting the names.
Bask in me.
So you can see, I think that volume's too loud.
Bask in me.
That's buried it a little bit more for me.
Bask in me.
Again, let's pull some of that out.
Bask in me. Bask in me.
It seems to do that. It seems to push up the volume when I pull that down.
Bask in me. Bask in me.
We can always pull the fader down as well.
Bask in me.
I'm just going to copy that over.
Bask
Pretty much using the same settings then to get it to re-listen.
bask in me. Bask in me. Bask in me. Bask in me.
And it's also put low cuts in on this on 200 to pull it away from a lot of that low end stuff.
Bask in me. Bask in me.
Remember to save your projects frequently, guys, as well. going to pull the volume down on that first set of main muted keys. You see I'm near the bottom, so I'm going to hit the dim switch and then start pulling it back up. That's nice. I like that just there in the background. We can play around with that later on once we've give our ears a rest later on. And we'll do the same with that. I'm liking how that sounds. I'm just twiddling a little bit here now. I'm going to pull over now to the main key here. That's pretty loud. Straight away the gain staging's pulled it down. I'm going to go for synth melody, I think, on this one. Now the suggestions on here are only suggestions. They're just to get you close as you can. It doesn't really matter because you're going to be tweaking it anyway, but it's just sort of almost like a get as close to the suggestion as you can. You don't have to be too much on it. You don't have to worry too much about it. Pull up some of this here at the high end. I pull up some of this low end, but I think that won't matter because there's a low cut 250 on it anyway. Let's dim out and push it up. Hit that C so I don't pan it. Maybe a bit of delay on there. Maybe a bit of reverb. I am liking the sound of that. Not keen on that. Maybe if I bring up the intensity of that down, just so you get a little bit of a bounce on it, a little bit of a duck. And I'm just going to put on this corrective EQ. Again, some of this stuff is just to taste. There's a really good trick that Phil Spicer does on his one, where he pulls it from the top down to the middle with his eyes closed and then stops where he thinks that it's in place. And then what he does then is he takes a note of that number and then he takes it from the bottom up and stops in where he thinks it should be in place. And then he does the difference between those two numbers and that's where he puts it. It's a really good little trick. So let's get on to these pings. So again, we're just going to go through the basics of what I do when I pull this plugin in, and it's done quite not a lot to be done on this one. It's just done a low cut of 100 hertz and brought the volume down. I put a dim on it. I'm going to put some delay on it for creative effect. And I may put some of this auto pan on. Just bring up some of that auto pan there, just to get it to move, a little bit of movement in it. Again, that's just creative decisions. Let's just center that.
Bask in me, bask in me. Oh, bask in me,
I'm happy with that.
bask in me,
Let's do ping 2.
bask in me. Oh, bask in me, bask in me.
Just get it to listen again, synth pluck. And again, it hasn't really put much to it.
Bask in me,
Put a bit of reverb and delay on that. Get it to a little bit, bounce a little bit. Computer's starting to struggle a little bit, so in a minute I'm going to have to just bounce some of these tracks down, or what they call freeze these tracks in Cubase. You can click the track and there's a little freeze icon, looks like a little snowflake, and you click that and it'll freeze it with the effects on it. So I'll do some of that in a minute.
bask in me, bask in me. Oh, bask in me,
Just dim it and pull it up a bit.
bask in me. Oh, bask in me, bask in me, bask in me. Oh, bask in me, bask in me, bask in me. Oh, bask in me, bask in me.
Just a little something in the background. I'm going to probably pull this right down, just to give some sort of noise in the background.
Bask in me, bask in me, bask in me. Oh, bask in me, bask in me.
I'm just going to take that one off it. I don't know what I did with it. I did something with it, but it wouldn't let me do anything, so
Bask in me,
put a new one on, get it to re-listen.
bask in me.
I'm going to put synth chords on this one again. It is starting to struggle a little bit now, the computer, as you can see.
Bask in me, bask in me, bask in me. Oh,
Yeah, it's starting to struggle.
bask in me, bask in me.
I'm going to pull the volume down on this. I really want that to sit in the back. And there is some of them low tones in there I don't want. I'm going to pull a lot of that out.
Bask in me,
That's sitting a little bit better there now.
bask in me.
And I'll probably pull the volume down a little bit more, I think.
Bask in me.
Okay, this computer's struggling, so I'm just going to freeze some of these tracks, and then I'll jump it forward to where I've done that. It is really struggling now.
Bask in me.
Okay, so that's that done. I froze those vocal ones, as you can see there, so I'm going to now do this Dreampad one.
Bask in me.
And as you see, other than the extra kick that I added, I haven't touched the faders on this and it's sounding all right. So we'll get synth pad on this one because it's just like a type of thing that's going on. I'm going to put some reverb on this, I think, and I'm maybe going to spread it a little bit. I just want to hear it, so that's why I'm pushing it up. Get it to push on those mids a little bit more. Down, bring some of that spread up, bring some more of that volume. So remember, the plugin doesn't know where you want the element to sit, so it may not always put it in the right place for you. So that's pretty much all the instruments done. Now we need to group the drums, put one on the group of the drums, and then put one onto the master and do a master version of that as well. So again, it's just playing around now to get these volumes right where I want them. There we are. So let me group these this whole beat up, the kicks and top loops. And just add them channels to a group. I'm going to call this beat bus or beat group. It depends sometimes what day, what I'm feeling. I'm just going to move this over to where I like it, over at the other side in the zones. So I'm just going to find this group tracks and then just push it over to the side. It means then it's over with the other ones. Then when I move that slider at the bottom, it's them on that side stay where they are. Now I've got that going to all music bus, which I think then goes to direct music. That's part of my singer's setup, that where we have she's got her own setup where she has a separate mix that she can listen to with different reverbs and stuff on. So I'm just going to pull that out of there and push it over to the stereo arm. That's better. And we'll put a strip on there as well. I really do like this strip. We got it for $50, I think it was, in the sales just gone over the Black Friday and that. So look out for that if you do like this and you want to get that. Just have a look for bargains that come along like that. So I've put drums and drum bass and I'm just giving it a listen, and there we go. That's sounding quite good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with this transient designer. I'm going to set it to fast enough that it catches the kick and the claps. So 1/8, and we'll start seeing, if I hit this solo button here, we can hear what's being hit. So I want the kick and a little bit of that hat maybe, so that's it, a bit of that. And if we pull that down, it's going to take some of that low end out. So it just hits a little bit harder, which helps to push that beat through. So it's a matter of playing with this until you get something you like. And it's put a compressor on there as well, and a multi-band compressor. I quite like that as it sounds. That's off. Sounds a little bit more glued together. That compressor's given nice gluing on it. I'm quite happy with how that sounds. Maybe have a look at this balance EQ here. See if we can get it just a little bit of differential between the kick and the bass. I'm happy with how that sounds. And so I'm happy with the whole mix, how the whole mix sounds now. And we can always go back and play around with the faders if we need to. I'm just going to pull these vocals down as a group. And I'll just be fine-tuning that over the next day or so. When I've got fresh ears, I'll come back and have another listen. Something I recommend you guys do. So let's put on this now, a mix. You got two versions. You got a mixed version and a mastered version, and you can put on whichever one you want. If you want to just push it straight out, then you can put a master on it, or you can do a mix and then go back and do a master with something like Ozone 10 or something, or Ozone 11. You know, you can just. It's up to you. So I'm just going to pick one here. I'm just going to pick a mix bus here. That sounds all right. So this is the final result we've got here.
Feel the sunlight on my face, soak it all in. The sun shines brighter now that I've found you. Feel the sunlight on my face, soak it all in. The sun shines brighter now that
So some of you guys might have heard there was a little bit of distortion or a little bit of clipping going on. That wasn't the recording. That wasn't this actual in the software itself. That was me recording into OBS, and I had the levels a little bit too hot in OBS. And then when I got it home to do the editing, I realized and there was nothing I could do. I didn't want to go back and re-record the whole thing. So just the levels are a little bit hot there. So that's that one plugin, guys. The song was Bask in Me by Bobby from the Trumpet, which is myself, Rachel, and Kevin. And you can find that over on SoundCloud and on YouTube. And we'll put links in the description. So we hope you like that one, guys. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section, and we'll look forward to reading them. And yeah, happy mixing, guys.